Hi, we're here in our Loveland headquarters, and we've got a visitor here. It's the Truth About Guns, Dan Zimmerman. And welcome, Dan. Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, nice weather here, and we're going to have some fun here. But I really want to talk to our members about what the Truth About Guns is. I think many of them know what it is. I certainly do. So why don't you tell them?
Thanks. We're a blog. We've been around for about 10 years now, and we've grown extensively. We reach about 1.5 million to 2 million readers a month, which that makes us one of the biggest on the internet, gun-wise. And we, if it has to do with guns, we write about it. Some of our most popular content is our no-holds-barred gun reviews, but we get into the political side too, and we consider ourselves gun rights absolutists.
Yeah, notice that. There are a lot of people in the industry who aren't absolutists, and of course, we are here at NAGR, but so we appreciate that. But you know, many of the blogs cover one or the other. They're gun people, gun nerds, or they are absolute political nerds, and very few of them actually talk about both.
Right. We're kind of blessed because we've got both of those under the same roof. We have some of the best, most knowledgeable gun people in the industry, people who were in the gun business themselves now or in the past, and then we've got people who are activists, current activists working on forwarding gun rights in their states and localities, and have a lot of experience on the political side as well.
And you guys like to get the voice of everybody. You want to hear from everybody about what's happening. And
we do.
Some of it's differing opinions.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we don't limit our content to one particular point of view. If it's gun rights related, we will run it. We've even run some anti-gunners' opinions occasionally because it's good to hear what the other side has to say.
Of course it is.
If I could get more of them to contribute once in a while, I'd love to do that. Our readers love the opportunity to engage with those people and mix it up a little bit.
You just published an article by one of our staff members, Ryan Frazier, about red flag laws and why they're all bad.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a hot topic, obviously, these days. Someone recently published something fairly prominently about how to create a quote-unquote good red flag law, one that might work for most people, and obviously this was the counter to that, with the opinion that there really is no way to do that.
Yeah, I think to sum it up, the article said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you can call it what you want, but it's
right.
It's not a red flag
very
law.
well how red flag laws are just inimical to gun rights.
Yeah. You've had some like really big articles that just burst out on the scene, some original research that I really enjoy reading. And sometimes I go, wait, why didn't we do that? And so we're happy to send that out as a reference to other people. Can you list a couple of the like big items that?
Well, we appreciate John Bach, one of our writers, who's very much into the gun rights community in Illinois. He didn't just look at the NICS data, which generally gives you month-to-month NICS checks, which are a good measure in general of sales volume. But he looked at it in detail. He dug into it to see what kind of guns are being sold, where they're being sold in different parts of the country and all that. So that kind of thing is interesting. Another very popular article we've run just in the last week that's got over 250,000 views has to do with a recent court case in Southern California regarding the definition of a firearm when it comes to an AR-15 rifle. A very intelligent attorney actually read the law and successfully argued to the judge that the definition of a firearm does not apply to an AR-15 lower. Therefore, his client did not commit a crime.
I agree with him.
And if you read the law, he was absolutely right. And the judge, despite a lot of reluctance in ruling that way, was persuaded. And when he issued a preliminary order to that effect, the ATF came in and said, "Oh, we can't do that. That would be chaos because we'll have unregulated AR-15 sales all over the country if that happens."
Oh.
So they dropped the prosecution.
That's terrible.
That would be terrible.
Could you imagine freedom?
Yeah.
Pretty soon people are going to think they're in a free country.
We can't have that.
And we can't have that. We got to have the ATF involved in every single transaction, anything that actually could be classified as a gun, maybe bump stocks.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Yeah. I looked at that and said, oops, the ATF really didn't expect this.
No, I'm sure they did, and I'm sure it sent off all kinds of alarm bells. And now that this has been widely communicated, CNN ran a story on it, which was shockingly accurate. And then our piece did more analysis into the argument that the attorney made. I spoke to him myself, and then, as I said, got more than 250,000 views on it. That argument's going to be made in other cases in the future, and I'm sure there's some attorneys are going to try and get some people, some convictions reversed of people who have been convicted on that basis in the past and maybe in jail now.
Yeah, and I won't ask you this. You're not an attorney. I'm not an attorney.
No.
But the attorneys I've talked to said we might go shopping and looking at state laws and say push these kind of rulings everywhere else. So my hat's off to the attorney who was smart enough to find
Yes.
that little hole. So can you list some of your other contributors? I mean, you guys got a wide range of people.
We do. We've got a big stable of very smart people. Few that stick out are John Wayne Taylor, former Army medic, used to work under the Perry administration in Texas as the Director of Economic Development, knows as much about guns as anybody I know. There's Jeremy S., who has written for us for quite a while and is now actively involved in his own firearms business.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned John Bach earlier, who runs an operation called Guns Save Life in Illinois, a grassroots pro-gun organization. And I could go on and on. We've got a dozen of them. They're
Right.
all excellent people.
I know I actually have that on my iPad for morning reading. So every single morning I usually have a cup of coffee in my hand. I almost always scan through the Truth About Guns, have for many years now, and I appreciate it. So
We're glad you do.
thank you for coming. Yeah, check them out at thetruthaboutguns.com.